Welcome back, guys, to Inside the House. My name is Alex, Parts and Service Director here at the House of Harley-Davidson. Today we're going to give you guys a rundown of what you can do to complete a pre-ride inspection to make sure your bike is ready to go. We pull them out of the garage after sitting for a few long months and kind of forget about them, make sure that you are ready to go and your bike is ready to go. So we're going to run through a list. You'll hear the acronym TCLOCS. That'll give you 6 different categories of items that you'll want to check over to make sure your bike is ready to go. So we'll start with T, which encompasses your tires, wheels, and brakes. When most people think about tires, they think about air pressure and tread. The main thing you're going to want to look at, besides just the tire tread and your tire pressure, is a date code. So a date code is a 4-digit number that's stamped in the sidewall of your tires, indicating the week and the year that the tire was manufactured. You're going to want to make sure that that tire is no older than 5 years old, only because at that time the materials of the tire start to break apart and wear. You can start noticing cracks in the treads or in the sidewall, and it's probably time to get rid of that tire and put a new one on there. Along with that, we'll take a look at brake pads and rotors, making sure the pads have plenty of life left in them, they aren't wearing unevenly, and then take a look at the rotor to make sure that there's no excessive warpage, discoloration, it being worn just past usable spec. We'll take a look once we get that done and check the wheels for any kind of bearing issues, and then finish that up with checking out the hand lever to making sure that that's firm and not indicating that the caliper is in need of any kind of service. We got your tires, wheels, and brakes taken care of, so now we're going to move on to the controls. We're going to take a look at the foot controls, making sure shifting levers and linkages are all tight and there's no excessive wear or play with those, making sure the front and rear hand and foot brake are operating properly, smooth, engaging freely, and then movement is fine when you let it go. And then we're going to move on to the hand controls and making sure the clutch and brake levers operate properly, the throttle actuation is smooth and it snaps back when you let it go, and then get into the electrical on the bike, making sure that all your hand controls function properly with the switches. Give a good once-over of the electrical components on the bike, making sure the battery terminals are tight and clean. Checking to make sure you've got a battery tender on the bike and that's working properly is always something that we recommend. So when you're not bringing the bike home after a ride and you plug it in, you know that the bike is charging properly for that next ride, it's ready to go. And then we'll move kind of into the lighting as well with the hand controls and making sure that your headlamp and high beam are working, all the turn signals and brake lights are operating properly, and any type of accessory or illumination on the bike is working properly. From there we'll move on to oil and other fluids. We always recommend checking your owner's manual for proper inspection of fluid levels. Some bikes need to be on the side stand, some bikes need to be upright. Take a look at your owner's manual to make sure you know where and how the oil should be checked. Definitely warm the bike up and get it to operating temperature. That fluid will expand a little bit, as well as cycling it through the engine will give you a better read on where that oil level is at. Same with coolant. And then also take a look at brake fluid. Brake fluid should be replaced every 2 years. Failure to do so can lead to some really big problems down the road. So while it's a minor type of repair or a service, it's definitely recommended to stay up on that. So we're going to move on to number 5 on the list, which is chassis. We're going to take a look at the frame, making sure that it's all intact. There's no type of stress cracks or wear or damage on the frame anywhere. We're probably going to get on the bike and just making sure that the suspension travels fluidly, making sure that there's no leaks present in the shocks or the front forks, and then just verify that your adjustment is proper, especially in the rear suspension. The first ride of the season, making sure that it's adjusted properly for you or for you and your passenger or you and your luggage. And then lastly, we're going to take a look at that belt adjustment, making sure that that's proper. And then we like to always get the bike up on the jack, rotate that rear wheel 1 full revolution to make sure that there's nothing lodged in the belt and that the belt adjustment is proper. You typically want to check that in about 3 or 4 different spots as you rotate the wheel. Finally, we'll move on to the side stand. Last but certainly not least, a very key part. If you ever put your bike on the side stand and notice it maybe wants to roll forward a little bit, it's probably time to replace that kickstand. There's a little catch on the top and a little bolt. The last thing you want to do is come out of the bar, the restaurant, the museum, anywhere, and see your motorcycle taking a nap in the parking lot. We've seen it before. We don't want that to happen to you. So pay close attention to that and make sure you don't let it happen to you. So we just went over the pre-ride inspection, aka TCLOCS, to give you guys the best of what you can look for to make sure your motorcycle is ready to ride. Don't forget, we included a link to a full TCLOCS list below in the description, so you'll definitely want to check that out. Head out to your garage, check things over, making sure it's ready to go. And of course, if you have any questions, give us a call, send us an email. We'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate you guys joining us and hope you enjoyed the video. Again, as we say, like, comment, and subscribe, making sure you tell us what you guys want to see. I'm Alex, House of Harley. See you next time.